Well, it's time to start the show. Lost my heart and lost my soul. Now it's time that you all know. Lost my mind and lost my goal. Not giving in. I'm not giving in. I'm not giving in. Ooh, I'm not giving in.
How healthy do you think your bones are?
I think moderately.
Pretty healthy, I reckon.
Quite healthy, I reckon.
Pretty healthy.
Yeah, probably, pretty moderately.
I think it's pretty healthy.
I think they're pretty healthy. Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I think dairy is an issue.
I've only broken one bone in my life, and I drink milk, full cream milk every day.
Because I generally try and eat a lot of dark green vegetables to get enough calcium, and because I'm lactose intolerant, I have to get my dairy sources from somewhere else, and I do quite a bit of exercise.
Pretty healthy.
I'd say mine pretty unhealthy. Got heap of stress fractures in my bones, so
I think I eat well and exercise often. They work together in keeping bones healthy.
That's a really great question. Most of us take our bones for granted. With the exception of our teeth, they're invisible, doing their important work supporting us and maintaining our health behind the scenes.
Physical activity is important for bone health throughout life. It also helps to increase and preserve bone mass and to reduce the risk of falling in older age. All types of physical activity can contribute to bone strength in different ways.
As well as physical activity, having a balanced diet high in calcium, not smoking or drinking excessively can also improve your bone health. People with excessive thyroid hormone can have a higher risk of low mass density.
How would you test for your bone strength?
No idea.
No idea.
Like, shit. How much? I don't know.
I guess there's some sort of specific medical test that you could do.
I'm not sure.
some kind of scan it and see the density.
Probably test it via bod pod. We had one at my old school. And,
Yeah.
they just tested bone mass, bones mass and your skin folds, how much body fat you have as well.
How do you improve your bone strength?
I would not know.
Well, I've been told that you can drink milk.
Protein and some calcium and some vegetables.
Or the doctor says to drink a lot of milk.
Exercise?
It's overall conditioning, I reckon. Like the more you spend time working the muscles around the bone, the healthier the bone becomes as well.
You have to make sure the muscles surrounding the tendons that look after your bones are in condition and you're not doing anything stupid.
Children who participate in moderate to high impact weight-bearing exercises, for example hopping, skipping, jumping, have a higher bone mass density compared to less active children. When stress is not placed on a bone, a decline in bone density can result. Studies have shown that this occurs after prolonged bed rest or people who are in a wheelchair.
For adults, a combination of progressive resistance training with a variety of moderate impact weight-bearing exercises is most effective for increasing bone density or preventing the bone loss that occurs as we age. Hip fractures have been found to be 38 to 45% lower in older adults who have been physically active in their daily life compared to less active people.
Maintaining a healthy body weight is important for bone health throughout life. Being underweight increases the risk of fracture and bone loss. On the other hand, weight loss is also associated with a reduction in bone mass density, although this can be combated with an adequate diet and physical activity.
And lastly, vitamin D is important for good bone health because it aids the absorption and utilisation of calcium, increasing bone mass density.
What sports do you think enhance your bone mass density?
Netball.
Rugby is the sport to be in. It's the high contact collisions and that.
Yep.
I think that toughens your bones up.
Well, like fencing would probably, because you're always landing very hard with it's like 8 or 9 times your body weight force is going through your legs when you land. Rugby, again, high impact, so like neck density kind of thing, anything like landing
any sport that has high intensity pressure, I guess, on your muscles, yeah.
This seems to be one question that the interviewees really understood. Basically, any ground contact sport is beneficial to increasing your bone mass density. Sports such as
Walking,
jogging,
running,
climbing stairs,
playing basketball,
dancing,
hiking,
playing soccer,
and lifting weights.
all help to strengthen your bones.
Do you think you start losing your bone mass density?
Probably about the same age you start shrinking.
Which is
50, 60? I don't know.
50, 60?
Yeah,
Like late 30s? I don't know. Late 40s?
25?
Your late 20s?
I bet it's like 27.
Mid 20s, late 20s, because that's when like players like us, that's when we lose our peak. Like.
As bone loss is associated with old age, we threw this question in to challenge our interviewees. During childhood and adolescence, much more bone is deposited than withdrawn, so the skeleton grows in both size and density. Did you know that up to 90% of peak bone mass is acquired by age 18 in girls and 20 in boys, which makes youth the best time to invest in your bone health. The amount of bone tissue in the skeleton, known as bone mass, can keep growing until age 13.
At that point, bones have reached their maximum strength and density, known as peak bone mass. In women, there tends to be minimal changes in total bone mass from the age of 30 until menopause. In the first few years after menopause, most women experience rapid bone loss withdrawal from the bone bank, which then slows and continues throughout postmenopausal years. This loss of bone mass can lead to osteoporosis.
What is osteoporosis?
Weakening of your bones,
Yeah.
I guess.
I have no idea.
Something to do with bones. In your later years, like normally, you get really weak bones and brittle bones.
When because you've got you're deficient in calcium, I believe, holes start to develop in your bones as your bones cannot absorb the right amount of vitamin D. It's definitely when you're eating. I think people are under the assumption that drinking milk solely will give you enough minerals to sustain healthy bone pressure, but that's clearly not true. I mean, I know that the US have the highest milk drinkers, but they also have the highest cases of osteoporosis in the population.
As we all know, low bone density can lead to osteoporosis, which is a disease that normally affects the elderly. It is defined as a disease in which bones become weak and more likely to break. People that suffer from osteoporosis often break bones in the hip, spine, and wrist. It is often referred to as a silent disease because bone is lost with no signs. You may not even know you have osteoporosis until you have a fall or a bump that causes a break. Osteoporosis can easily be diagnosed through a bone mineral density test. Some treatment methods include a balanced diet rich in calcium and vitamin D, an exercise plan, healthy lifestyle, and medication if needed. But one of the most effective osteoporosis prevention strategies may be maximizing bone mineral content during the growing years by taking part in weight-bearing physical activities. But here are some stats about osteoporosis that you may not have known. 4.74 million Australians over 50 have osteoporosis or poor bone health. In 2012, there was 140,822 fractures that occurred as a result of osteoporosis or osteopenia. In 2020, it is expected that there will be a 30% increase in the annual number of fractures. 144,000 fractures were also recorded to have occurred due to osteoporosis and osteopenia in 2013. In Australia, there is one fracture every 3.6 minutes, according to the 2013 data, and by 2020, there will be one fracture every 2.9 minutes. Over the next 10 years, the total cost of osteoporosis and associated fractures is estimated to be $33.6 billion.
Do you think gender has any effect on bone mass density?
I'd love to say no, but I think it does.
Like, I can't think of a reason why, but...
No, I can't say. Boys will be boys, like we'll break each other's bones, but yeah, I'm not sure. That's just, I think it just depends upon the person. Yeah.
Because generally men are built.
As girls tend to have larger hips, and generally you would I would assume that you'd absorb your minerals very differently. It's like how women need more iron than men generally. So I would assume that there'd be a factor.
I don't think it would matter.
Doesn't matter?
I'd assume they also have like the same ideology around muscles and stuff.
Yeah.
If you answered yes, then you're correct. Women have less bone tissue than men. The absence of a girl's period for long periods of time, premenopause, can lead to a high risk of developing osteoporosis. Menopause also corresponds to dramatic bone loss as estrogen decreases. For men, low testosterone can lead to low bone mass density.
Do you think genetics has a role?
Probably.
Yeah?
Some people are big boned, as they like to say.
Definitely.
Yeah?
That affect general bone structure. Obviously, if people aren't as heavy set, they're going to have smaller bones.
While genetic factors play a significant role in determining bone mass, controllable lifestyle factors such as diet and regular physical activity can mean the difference between a frail and strong skeleton.
So what do you think about bone mass density? What makes them strong? What makes them healthy? What do you need? How do you test them? I hope you guys have learned something from this presentation and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks!